But first, she wrote notes. I need to review her notes. Okay, I agree. Hey guys, welcome back to the vlog. It's Boof
and Lee. In today's video, we want to compare our experiences between Royal Caribbean and Carnival.
As many of you know, we have been avid Carnival cruisers. My wife, in her haughtiest voice, I'm platinum on Carnival.
I'm platinum.
See. We actually just took our first Royal Caribbean cruise with friends of ours, and we thought we'd give you the lowdown on the differences.
Got a list because there was a lot of differences. So I'm just going to run through these real fast, and we're going to kind of give you our thoughts and impressions on each one. The first one I have is the elevators. In the elevators is a list of what each floor has. What I mean is, when you're inside the elevator, at the very top of it, there was actually all the floors and a breakdown of all the big things that are on each floor.
The elevator itself was just a little bit nicer in terms of ease of finding things. Their directions were a lot easier to get around in, and my wife loved that the carpet told you what day of the week it was.
Yes, that's actually one of the other things I had on my list. Was every day in the elevator, they changed out this little plaque and it told you what day it was. If it was Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, sorry. It told you what day it was, which was really cool because sometimes if you've ever been on a cruise, you're like, is it Tuesday? Is it Thursday? What day is it?
Now, some people might see this as a con, and I'm on the fence as to whether or not that belongs in the pro or the con column. Because I think part of the reason I go on the cruise is to kind of get away, relax, time kind of slips away, and I kind of like that. I'm glad it had the day of the week and not necessarily big clocks everywhere telling you what time it was, because I don't ever pay attention to the time on the boat either.
One of the other big differences that we noticed right out the gate was the purser's desk. On Carnival, it seems like there's always a long line, they're understaffed, it's crazy. And Royal Caribbean was a little bit different in the respect. There was a long line, don't get me wrong, but they were much more attentive to their staff. They actually had a gentleman or a woman that had a small portable tablet, and she or he would go through the line starting at the beginning, and if it was a problem that they could fix, they would do it right there on their tablet.
It was nice because it was additionally having somebody else, you know, when they needed to pick up the length of those lines, which made
them go very fast.
And in addition to that, you also felt like they understood that the line was long and they were trying to fix it, whereas sometimes you get in that line and you just kind of feel like they forgot about you. So that was nice.
Yeah. Another big thing, jumping right off of that, was the check-in. If you've ever cruised with Carnival, you get there at your scheduled time and you wait, and you wait, and you wait.
This was only our first one, and we only have this one experience to compare it to.
Yes.
But it was within 15 minutes from dropping our luggage off to being on the ship.
Now, let me repeat that in case you didn't hear that for those cruisers. Less than 15 minutes. And that was with them pulling me aside because the backpack that I was carrying, they swore up and down there was an Allen wrench in it. And they wanted to physically see it. And there was no Allen wrench in my bag. But nor here nor there. That was that included. Under 15 minutes.
That was a really nice check-in, went smooth, and it was nice. Our rooms were ready a lot sooner. The luggage was a little different. Normally we're used to Carnival putting it right outside our door, and on Royal Caribbean they kind of work it in stations, so like everybody on the port side of level 7, all of their luggage is in one area. You go to that area, you find your luggage, you take it yourself.
However, if you're like us and you don't know that, they will eventually bring it to your room. just to get it out of the hallway.
True.
Another thing I want to tell you about is the safety drill. If you've been on a Carnival ship, I don't know any other cruise line, so I can't speak to them, but on Carnival, they pack you in there like sardines for that safety drill. And I get it's mandatory, they have to have it, and it's a very important thing. Don't get me wrong.
Not complaining about the drill.
Absolutely not. But on Carnival, I mean, you are literally like this to the stranger next to you, smelling their body odor, going, I'm so sorry, but I have to move, sneeze, whatever. And the drills are extremely long. Now, with Royal Caribbean, the drill is still long.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's regulated by the United States. But Royal Caribbean only put us 5 people in a row, which was very nice. And they although we were close to the person next to us,
You didn't feel nearly as claustrophobic.
yeah, it wasn't like I was plastered to them. So that was really amazing.
Yeah, I didn't get as much of that feeling as Lee did, but she was number 1 in the row and I was number 5 or 4 in the row.
He was 4.
So for me, I didn't notice that there was a lot more room because I wasn't at the front. It was still a little cramped for me, but it's a safety review. You have to go through it to get the boat moving. We just went.
From a entertainment standpoint, they had several things that I want to comment on, and the first one is the rock climbing wall. OMG.
It wasn't just the rock climbing wall though. It was all of the interactive things that you could do on those top decks. It was, you know, the putt-putt golf, which of course Carnival does have, but in addition to that, they had things you could climb on and things you could bounce on and a full court basketball and the rock wall. It is amazing. It's impressive. It's 2 3 stories tall.
Yeah, and it's more than one station to rock climb up. I mean, they have like probably about, if I had to guess, maybe 5 or 6 different stations. And I'm sure they vary in level, I'm sure, but we didn't do it, but we did go by it.
Yeah, it was nice.
It was very nice. They also had the wave runner.
Yeah.
That was really, we did not do that, but it was really awesome to watch other people do it.
Yeah. I felt like there was just a lot more to do on the outdoor side of things than there is on the Carnival ships. Bear in mind, we have not been on the largest of the Carnival ships in a long time. So, but it did seem like there was a lot more to do. The sheer number of pools and spas, hot tubs, was amazing.
And if you remember back in the earlier video, which I'll include in here, her and Eli racing up the obstacle course, jungle gym.
Love that thing. It was fun. Yeah, I liked that it was like a kiddie thing, but the adults could do it too. And I felt that way about a lot of the items on like the pool decks and the open air decks. It was really neat.
One of the other cool things that they had that was an entertainment type thing that I really thought was awesome was an ice rink.
Yeah, there's an ice rink in the boat.
Boat had an ice rink and they performed shows on it.
What? Which again was another plus because not only did you have like the theater shows you could go to, but you go to the ice shows, they had comedy shows. It was just another level of experience that we didn't ever receive on the Carnival cruise. So that was really amazing.
And of course, as we showcased in our earlier video, they did have the escape room. Now, from what we understand, this escape room is not like most escape rooms where you go from one puzzle to the next. This one, they literally just stuck us in a room and was like, figure it out.
Although it wasn't for us, I heard people rave about it on the ship.
Right.
So here's the thing. We've never really wanted to do an escape room. We did it because, wow, there's one on here. We've never tried one. It'd be a great experience. We might like it. It's never really been a goal. Yeah. Do you agree with that?
I do. I would try it again here on land because I hear they are so drastically different. But it wasn't like, oh my gosh, I've got to do this kind of thing.
Yeah, if she made me go, I would go to one. But it's not something that I'd be like, oh my God, we have to go to escape room. I didn't have that much fun with it.
Okay, let's jump back into the boat side of it and less from the activity side of it. One thing that the boats had that I absolutely loved was touch screens. They had them outside the elevators. You could literally push, I want to go here, and it would tell you how to get there.
And show you a map, and little footprints would walk you where
Yeah.
you need to go. Go down 2 floors. Take this corridor. It was amazing.
It really was. And they had them everywhere throughout the boat, which if you've ever been on a boat, sometimes they can be difficult to navigate.
Yeah.
And that was a really awesome feature. In addition to that, they also had on the promenade deck, which is your main throwaway deck, they had little ship outlines little carved out little ship outlines with the little rooms and the little where everything was also.
Which was nice because then it's like a little piece of artwork and also functional.
Yes, that was really awesome.
The touch screens were nice, and I loved that even outside the dining room, you could go and look at the touchscreen and see what they were serving that day instead of walking up and, you know, reading a piece of paper. It was actually pretty neat. Technology, it was much more technologically advanced. It's been a long day.
Jumping off of that oh Lord, you got me doing it now. Jumping off of that, one of the nice things that we liked, obviously we had the drink package, and they actually gave us souvenir cups in our room as part of the drink package. And for me, who loves diet soda, I literally walk around, I'm pretty sure I was born with one in my hand. It was really nice for coffee. It was very nice at 2 o'clock in the morning. I could go down and get soda if I wanted soda. She could go down and get a coffee if she wanted coffee.
Now that brings us into a whole new level of things, because if we're talking amenities from the food and beverage side of things, Royal Caribbean hands down has me 100% on board. I could get coffee 24/7. Do you know how many times I'd wake up on a Carnival ship and be sitting outside the coffee shop waiting for them to open?
In a line, nonetheless.
That's unacceptable.
And not only is the coffee shop open 24/7, but this is another feature that I absolutely loved about this boat, is that all of the restaurants had double function. So like the coffee shop, yeah, they served coffee, but they also had donuts and pastries and different stuff that were free. The pizza place that serves pizza all night long for breakfast time, they had little sandwiches and stuff. And that was amazing.
It gave us another area we could go to have breakfast or lunch or just a snack throughout the day, besides having to go to what they call the Windjammer area, which is the main dining or the buffet dining area. I really enjoyed that. And it was right there on the promenade, so you were probably already there shopping or attending one of the events anyway.
Now,
amazing.
I'm going to jump off the Windjammer part that she's already mentioned and point out from a first-timer's perspective, cleanliness. The boat itself as a whole is very, very cleanly, but even very clean, not cleanly, not cleanly. Clean.
We make up our own words here. You know this by now.
You know how this is. But when you enter into the Windjammer, which is the open cafeteria, there's a couple things that really stood out to me versus Carnival. First and foremost, they have these wash basins. Now they're very nice. I say basin, but it's a very nice setup.
I would say wash stations.
Yeah, kind of like wash
down
stations.
Either side of the hallway.
To encourage you to wash your hands before going into the dining facility. That is amazing. Yeah. In addition to that, to kind of help people, they actually had staff members out there singing songs, and ironically they were wash your hands songs, but it was quite enjoyable, because you're sitting there and you're like, yeah, oh shoot, I need to wash my hands. Lord knows what I've been doing throughout the day before going into lunch, and they were very friendly, very upbeat, very positive, and it was amazing. The other thing that I loved, hold on one second, the other thing that I loved about the Windjammer was you served yourself. On Carnival, they limit you to portions. Now you can ask for more.
Unofficial, yeah.
Yeah, unofficially. You can ask for more, and most of the time they'll give you more. But on Royal Caribbean, there was no portion size. You literally could have whatever you wanted and as much of it as you wanted. And for me, loving French fries, as I do,
she was all over that.
That was amazing.
Now, from the food standpoint, because one of the biggest things I wanted to see different between Royal Caribbean and Carnival was their food. And I am only somewhat disappointed to say they were pretty similar.
They were.
Quality of food, even on the main dining versus the Windjammer versus all of the other areas that you could go eat, it was about the same. I felt like they were the same dishes that we had on Carnival. Not a lot of variation there between the two cruise lines. I think the biggest difference was the presentation was a little bit nicer on Royal Caribbean, and I felt like at any given time there were more opportunities for different items.
Yeah. So
it wasn't just the same 5 items in 10 different areas. So I liked that.
I'd like to jump into our stateroom now. Stateroom wise, we had an interior room that looked out over the promenade, or the interior part of the ship.
So it was like an interior room with the window.
Yeah. First time ever having that. I liked it. I mean, they put on a lot of shows on the Promenade there, but as far as the sound, I really couldn't hear it. I mean, if you was sensitive,
She couldn't hear it because when she lays down, she's dead to the world. I would just recommend bringing some earplugs.
yeah, if you
It
had an
wasn't that
interior
bad.
room.
Yeah.
But it's not overbearing energy, but you can hear some of it, I'm sure. But it was very nice to have that little window to look out over the open area down there where everybody's walking and milling about. I feel like the room was a little bit bigger than Carnival's rooms. The bed, I actually love. The bed, on Carnival, if you get 2 twin beds and you push them together to make a queen, you have that divot. You know what I'm talking about, where the 2 beds come together? We call it the crack.
Yep, somebody's always in it.
Now, Royal Caribbean actually had this double layered type
Mattress topper.
mattress topper that actually helped alleviate a lot of that,
Yeah,
which was...
I couldn't even tell if there was a dip there, so that was kind of nice.
It was really awesome.
The bathrooms, although laid out the same, the only big difference between them and Carnival was the fact that instead of a shower curtain, you actually had doors that shut. And
Oh, that's
it
amazing.
was actually kind of nice because it wasn't brushing up against you. It didn't, come out and
Flood
then
the
flood
bathroom floor.
I really did enjoy that. The downside, I think, of the staterooms, at least in this style boat that we went on, which was the Independence of the Seas, by the way, I don't think we've mentioned that, was that we picked a room central on the boat, so we were like right in the center, and their elevators were at the front and the back of the boat. There was none in the middle.
Because the middle is open.
Yeah. So, although it's not a deal breaker, I felt like anytime we needed to go to the room, it was a 7.5 hour walk to get there. There was no convenient way to do it. You had to walk all the way past the room on another floor to get all the way down to the elevator to come up and go around. Not a deal breaker. It would change where I selected my room next time, though.
For me, it didn't bother me at all. I barely noticed. I don't know. I think I probably didn't notice it as much because the hallways on Carnival are straight. I mean, they are an arrow. You can literally get at one end of the hallway and you can see clear to the other end of the ship. On Royal Caribbean, they're not. They ebb and flow, and they've got little artwork and little, So I think for me, I didn't notice it as much. And to be honest, I used the artwork to tell me if I was in the right direction a lot of times. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I'm going the wrong direction. This artwork should be behind me, not in front of me. So I actually didn't mind it.
That was one thing I noticed also when it comes to being able to navigate around the ship. In my mind, I'm remembering, and I might be wrong, on Carnival, like, one side of the boat had odd numbered staterooms and the other side had even numbers. So if your room ends in a 7, you're going to look for the side of the boat that has your odd numbers. And that, I didn't realize how much that helped me before, because when you're on the boat in the center and you really don't have any landmarks, it's hard to tell A, which direction you're going, and B, which side of the boat you need to be on. They didn't do that on this boat. You were just kind of like, oh, am I on port or starboard?
And once you figure out that, I felt like it was fairly easy to navigate. Once I realized I was on the starboard side.
But the difference is if you were on there and you were like, wait a minute, am I even on the right side of the boat? You couldn't tell unless you stopped and found one of those signs and went, oh no, I am not.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. All in all, what were your overall findings? Do you like it better or worse? What were your thoughts there?
There was 2 other points I wanted to throw out there real fast before I answer your question. And we'll make them quick. One, there was a dive center on the boat. A legitimate dive center. That's freaking awesome. As divers, although they wasn't our certification, but still pretty cool. And the second thing I wanted to point out is the unusual entertainment. We mentioned earlier the Windjammer entertainment outside the restaurant. I also encountered another type of entertainment that I found quite amusing. Because they have I think it was 8 elevators. 4 on one side and 4 on the other. 2 were glass, 2 were solid, and then the entryway there, and then there's 2 and 2. I went to get on one of the glass elevators, and there was literally a man in there playing a piano. Mind you, we only got 3 of us in that elevator with him. But it was really cool.
It's interesting, yeah.
To see that, to have a different form of entertainment.
So overall, what were your final findings?
I would say right off the top, cleaner, nicer. overall, I just felt like the boat had more to do, more to entertain you, more effort were made to make sure that you was enjoying your time on the ship. I loved it. I would be hard pressed to go back to Carnival. I'm not saying that I wouldn't, because obviously I still have a lot of family that loves to cruise on Carnival. But for me, if I was booking it myself, I'd probably book Royal Caribbean.
I have to agree with that. More to do, friendlier environment, cleaner environment, and I really enjoyed it.
Now there was 3 major cons that we found about the boat that were really just turnoffs, I will say.
The first of which was the small casino, which affected me more than anybody because that's where I spend my time. It was much smaller, and that meant that as non-smokers now, it was really hard to find a place that didn't, you know, overpower you with cigarette smoke. So that was kind of a downside.
Yeah, because normally that stuff doesn't bother us.
But in those enclosed spaces.
But being the smaller casino, being enclosed, it was a little more rougher for us.
The second one was, again, the elevators that we mentioned being only at the front and the back of the ship. And the last one was the dining tables were really close together in the formal dining. We had loved the formal dining, but it did seem like it was really hard to navigate in there.
All in all, I must admit it was hands down a great cruise, a great time, great liner. What are your thoughts? What do you think?
I would do it again. I would do it again. I feel like for us, it was nicer. It was a little more peaceful than it is on Carnival. So
Carnival is definitely more
younger
crowd.
I don't want to say younger.
Well, no, it's actually not true. Carnival's more of a partier crowd, where we're more your, I don't want to say biddies, but
we want to talk with people, and we want to cut up and have a good time, and we were able to do that on Royal Caribbean really easily. I thought it was very welcoming for us. So.
Now, one odd thing I just want to throw out there, and then we'll close this video out. Royal Caribbean did something that was just a little bit mind-boggling to me. At various times on the ship, various days, they would sign up people to get headphones, over-the-ear headphones. And they had a DJ, but the only people that could hear the DJ's music is those that were wearing the headphones. Now, to put that in perspective, imagine 300 people on a dance floor dancing, but there's no music.
This amazes her. She doesn't realize this is actually a thing. Silent DJ?
Really?
Yes, that's a thing.
Oh, apparently I'm showing my age more than I knew.
It's okay. We're used to that.
So guys, we hope you took something from our video. If you have any questions or anything that you want to know, throw it down below.
We could do a whole nother video on the Carnival stops versus the Royal Caribbean stops, because those were amazing. But let us know if that interests you, because we got some great insights on those too.
Yes, we did.
And we will catch you guys next time.
Please remember to like our videos, share them with your family and friends,
and comment.
Comment
down below. We want to hear from you.
We want to hear from you.
Think.
Oh, and subscribe if you haven't already.
Happy holidays, guys, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Toodles.
Bye. You gonna go book that next cruise?
You know I am. I was getting ready to tell you that.
What if they'll let us bring the dogs?
Ooh. Plot twist.